What's up, guys? Jeff Cavalier, ATHLEAN-X.com.
Jesse Lako, ATHLEAN-X.com.
So what does your sex life, or lack of it,
Okay, that's not very nice.
have to say about your ability to make gains in the gym?
Wait. Is this another killing your gains video?
Listen, I can kill gains if I want to. I've done it plenty of times before. So we're going to actually answer this in the form of an Ask Jeff question. So we talked about this before in a video on masturbation. However, there are researchers out there who have pointed to the difference towards the method of how you reach climax. So masturbation versus actually having intercourse. And we're going to break that down today to help you to determine whether or not you're killing your gains. Okay. Now, more on that to come. But
I get it.
You just don't stop, do you?
No.
Can you read the question?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is from Admiral Squat Bar. I love that name. Hey, Jeff, my gym buddies, who are way more jacked than me, have said that frequent sex has helped increase their gains by boosting their testosterone. I think my lagging sex life is negatively affecting my performance in the gym. In short, they believe that too little sex is killing my gains. Is there any truth to this?
Okay, Admiral, thank you for the question.
Oh, I think this is something that I can cover.
God
you know, I've talked
almighty.
about coming before, coming behind stage before a show, coming at home, coming in the gym. You know, when I pump up, it's like coming with a woman.
You realize, Arnold, that you've used this exact joke before.
Well, I think it bears worth repeating based on the topic of the video.
Okay, can you go find the chopper, please?
You want me to go now?
Please.
Come on!
So, the research we talked about before that advocates the difference between climaxing through intercourse and climaxing through self-stimulation, right? Masturbation. But is there really any substance to the fact that engaging in sex is going to drive higher testosterone levels, which are going to drive gains in the gym? Is there anything to that? You got to stop for a second and realize, I think there's some problems here.
Okay.
All right. The first thing is the research that has shown, and there's not a lot of consistent research that talks about this, but the research that has shown an increase in testosterone from climaxing through intercourse is basically talking about a 10% increase in testosterone.
10%? That sounds like a lot.
Well, when you realize that a man's testosterone level will fluctuate 20 to 30% up and down in a given day, it's not that much anymore.
Okay.
Let's say a guy who has a testosterone level of 500 nanograms per deciliter. His can go up as high as 30% up, 650, or 30% down, 350 in a given day, depending upon the time of day and when you measure.
Okay.
So when you think about a 10% increase and where that falls along that range, it's not that significant. And when you add on top of that the fact that this increase is a transient increase, and I mean very transient, 30 to 60 minutes following climax through sex, like how much of an impact is that really going to have in terms of actually leading to more muscle growth?
Okay.
Which brings us back to that other subject, the gym bros. What was it, Akbar?
Admiral
Squat Bar? Squat Bar's buddies telling him that he needs to engage in more sex because their sex lives are what's driving their muscle growth.
And that's why they got more gains than he does.
That's what they're saying. Well, there actually is research, probably what they're reading, that says that men who engage more regularly in sex have higher levels of testosterone. But you gotta apply the chicken or the egg concept to that statement. Because think about this. Is it that sex is increasing his gym buddies' testosterone levels, or is it that they already have high testosterone levels, probably why they have more gains, but it's also making them seek out more sex? Right? They're more aggressive, they're more willing to pursue what they want, you know, the whole hunter-gatherer type thing.
Right.
Is that what's actually causing it? So you have to make that differentiation. And I think in this case here, we can quickly look to the opposite side of it and realize that, yeah, I think this makes sense because we know that guys that have very low testosterone tend to have low libidos, right? Which is why people seek out testosterone replacement to try to solve that problem. But we can make the assumption that people who have higher levels of T are probably going to be maybe a little bit more sexually active. But again, I don't think any of the research is pointing to the fact that they're engaging in sex more often that's leading to the increases in testosterone.
Okay.
And by the way, I think if it was actually true that more sex led to the testosterone that actually drove real muscle growth, that it's fair to say that maybe Wilt Chamberlain would have been a 17-time Mr. Olympia.
Oh, I remember his story.
So it's pretty clear that it's not the lack of sex that's causing our boy Admiral Squat Bar to be lacking gains in the gym.
But what about too much sex?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, we've actually heard that probably from coaches back in the day.
Oh, I remember my coaches saying that back in high school.
Yeah, or before a big fight, they tell fighters not to have sex before a fight. I think that's also been very much dispelled, but the rationale behind it is an interesting story about this. The rationale was they said, oh, if you have sex, you're going to lose that edge or that aggressiveness and that drive and motivation that might serve and benefit you in competition. I can make the opposite argument. Let's say you're in a happy, healthy, monogamous relationship, regularly having sex. You might be less stressed. You might have great sleep, all the things that come along with it. I could argue that from a recovery standpoint, you're more well positioned to make gains in the gym because of that.
Right.
But the interesting side note of all that was I think Casey Stengel's the one that directed his players away from having sex before games, and it wasn't because, as he admitted later, because he was worried about them having sex. He didn't want what came in the pursuit of having sex. In other words, late nights, out all night, drinking, trying to go meet up with people to have sex. That was what he really was trying to discourage. So in the end of it, though, I think it's pretty fair to say that when it comes to making gains in any type of climaxing, whether it be through sex or through masturbation, you're better off just attempting to make gains by actually working out. Because if you work out and you build muscle and you become more confident, you get more attractive and you do something about your own body, you're likely to put yourself in a position to actually have more sex. Jesse?
I think it's been working for me.
Well, the gains actually have been helping. So guys, if you want to have your question answered in a future Ask Jeff video, make sure you leave your question below and I'll try to get to it and make it the subject of a future one here. Also, if you haven't done so, guys, make sure you click subscribe and turn on notifications so you'll never miss a video when we put one out. All right, guys, see you soon. Don't have sex before a game or don't have sex before a fight, right? No, they were just telling you because they didn't want you to have to put any woman through that.
Oh.
So, basically.